I had a glitch earlier this morning. Hello, 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 everyone. It's 1 o'clock here in beautiful California. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on wherever you are in the world. I'm so incredibly grateful to have Stacie with us again today to answer your questions about leverage your art. Stacie, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for inviting me into your community again. I know that you've had lots of people in your community sign up already, which is so exciting. And I also know that there are a lot of people with questions about the course. So I just wanted to come back. Thank you for inviting me and answer your questions so that you would feel super confident in joining Leverage Your Art. Yeah.
And I sent out an email this morning with the syllabus. So I think everybody's really loved to be able to kind of almost go under the hood to see more, to get more details, which is always super helpful. And one of the things that has come up kind of over and over again are kind of 5 questions. And so I thought we could just jump into them. Let me make sure that I just check in the background that people can see us live. And I'm going to refresh my screen, make sure that we get the little live button that tells us that we're live. And then we will jump right in. I'm refreshing.
Wonderful.
Yep, I'm refreshing my page. What's the weather like where you are? Because we're having a huge heat wave here.
Oh yeah, here too. It's not delightful. It's
It's a
hot
little.
and hot and sticky. So Saturday Night Live did a skit about summer times in Fayetteville, Arkansas, a few years ago for no other reason than like it's notoriously hot and sticky. It's so weird. Anyway, that's our claim to fame.
That
Saturday Night Live making fun of our weather.
That's funny. Well, we're good. We've got the red live icon, which is what I always tell people to look for. So we are good to go. So
Wonderful.
it is hot and it's humid and it's summer. And so that is one of the questions that's come up a lot around it's summer. I don't know if I'll have time for this because I want to do more travel than I was able to do last year. Anyways, you've created a beautiful course that's incredibly accessible. But tell us a little bit about how people can still absolutely take advantage of it this summer and beyond.
And beyond. So, I totally understand where you're coming from. Last summer, we were all cooped up in our houses, especially in the United States, well, all over the world. But right now, I know in the US, people are able to go out a little bit more. And so I get it too. I want to be out and traveling and doing things. But the way I designed this course is so that even if you're not able to join us live for every aspect of the course, you can still access the course and go at the pace that works for you. So even the live elements of the course. So every time there's a new module, we release video lessons that you can watch at any time. We have workbooks for you to download. And even my live Q&As, you are able to submit your questions ahead of time. And if you can't join us live, don't worry. I'm going to answer them during the live, and then we will have it available for replay, all inside of a beautiful student portal website. You don't have to go anywhere else to find anything. It's all right there in the Leverage Your Art student website. And, I'm going to be honest with you. Last year when we did our course, even last year with everyone homebound, and we had 500 people do it last year, only about 20% of our students were able to join us live. And that's because people live all over the world. 20% of our student body was international, and people still have, jobs, and people have family to take care of. And so it was really important to me to design this course so that you can access it whenever it works for you. So all that is to say is if what's holding you back is this, summertime, please don't worry. You have all the time you need because of the lifetime access to the 2021 Leverage Your Art course to go at a pace that works for you. In fact, I encourage people to go at their own pace no matter what, because it can get incredibly overwhelming whenever you join a course and whenever you have a life to live. So why don't we just dispel that right away and say, hey, this course is here for you when you need it to give you the tools to grow your creative business and make money from your art. And if you go at your own pace, you're not going to be alone. So many people in the creative community inside of Leverage are also going at their own pace.
So true. And listen, one of the things that I teach to my own students is if you lean into your own pace, I believe you actually learn better. because you're not trying to keep up with somebody else's agenda. You're learning the way you retain the information best. And what's great about not only how the course is organized, but this access that people have is they can, in the first couple of weeks, kind of get their feet wet, decide how it's going to work best for them. And life happens for all of us, right? Life happens for all of us where you got to take 2 weeks and you're going to go do something else and then just come right back and jump right back in.
Yeah. And to your point, there's no perfect time to start something. There's always going to be, an appointment that comes up or something that comes up with your family. There's always going to be something that could keep you from saying yes and starting something that could really grow your creative business. And I have seen it in my own life. The times that I have waited to do something that I was interested in, I almost always look back and regret it. I think about the first time I bought an iPad, which frankly cost more than this course costs. Bought myself an iPad, and I waited for years to buy myself an iPad because I was like, you know what? I can piecemeal this together. I can make art by doing it, hand sketching it. I can scan it into Photoshop. I can clean it up. Then I'll take it into Illustrator, all the things. But then once I finally bought myself an iPad, I was like, oh my gosh, my workflow is so much faster. Why did I wait so long to do this for myself? And the same goes for any investment in yourself. You might be sitting there right now thinking, this is a busy summer and I have a lot going on. I'm going to just wait to start. I would encourage you to, if you feel like excited about leverage your art and when you see other people signing up, you're like, ooh, I really want to do it, but I'm holding back. I think you should try and see how it works for you. I think you're going to be really happy that you did.
So Rhonda's question is, when does it begin? So kick off. Go ahead. Tell us.
Yes, absolutely. So the kickoff call. So enrollment closes tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Our kickoff call, our Zoom call where we're going to just be starting everything off, is on the 18th of June, and it's at 5 p.m. Central Time. And don't worry, like everything, there's a playback if you can't join us live. And then the first day of class starts on Monday, June 21st. And then it runs for 8 weeks, and that's 8 weeks of content being delivered. But that doesn't mean that you're done after 8 weeks, because our community is still there to answer your questions. My support team is still going to be answering your questions, and you're still going to be plugged into the Leverage Your Art community. So June 21st is the first day.
First day of school, which is going to be awesome. So Verly Murphy is here, who joined. Hi, Verly. And Judy Patterson is also here, who joined. It's so great to see you guys here. And so one of the philosophies I wanted to check with you on is, I definitely personally feel when you have the sense of excitement that you were just talking about, it's actually your physical body telling you that you need to take the leap. Right? It's your physical body telling you you need to take the leap. Talk a little bit more about that.
I am a huge believer in two things. One, listening to your gut, and two, equipping yourself so that you are ready to act. So the two things go together hand in hand. I think that that sometimes our bodies know things even before our brains do. There's like a body-mind connection, just like Anne said. And I will tell you, whenever I have a gut feeling, a visceral feeling about something, and I ignore it, it's almost always because of fear. It's almost always because, I want to have all the pieces right in front of me before I make a decision. And the truth is, every time I've listened to my gut and run with it, I've not regretted it. So I can give some concrete examples. Heck, even making this course, it all goes back to, I wanted to make a Leverage Your Art course for a while, actually, for years. In fact, I got on Instagram live years ago and I said, I'm going to make an art licensing and creative business course, but the timing wasn't right. And then I had this gut feeling that I needed to reach out to my good friend, Bonnie Christine, because I had seen Bonnie Christine helping the creative community, learning how to create surface pattern designs. And so I had this, it was like a moment where I was like, I need to email Bonnie. And she hadn't been popping into my head often, but I listened to those urges. And so I emailed her, I said, Bonnie, I'm thinking about doing this. And she said, it's perfect. And she helped me and guided me along the way. Now, a lot of you have taken Bonnie Christine's course and you know what an amazing teacher she is. And I'm just going to tell you that, like, if I had not sent her that email that day, maybe I wouldn't have created this course. And now I've been able to help, hundreds and hundreds of creatives grow their own businesses. And so I know that's a small personal story, but I can't tell you how many times I've sent the email because I had a gut feeling, or I've signed up for something because I had a gut feeling. I myself take courses too, because I believe it's, like I said, listening to your gut, but equipping yourself. It's opportunity meets preparation, right? So this is the opportunity for you to take all this beautiful work that you've learned from Anne and from Bonnie and from whoever you've learned, and to actually put it into motion to create income from your art. And that's what I teach you. I teach you art licensing. I teach you how to take that portfolio and turn it into products that you can create on your own and sell. And I teach you how to run a business, which, let's be honest, I would love to just make art, frankly, but I also need to be equipped to run a professional business because, I can listen to my gut so much more clearly when I know all my ducks are in a row with my business. So I can take creative leaps because I know that I have gotten my bookkeeping in order and I know where my income is coming from. And that income, that data that I have now, that equips me to make better decisions for my creative business. And I want you to feel equipped to make those great decisions for your business too. So leverage your art is so much more than just, hey, I'm going to teach you how to license your art. I'm going to teach you how to take your art and build a stable creative business.
Phenomenal. So you're just going to love my peeps, Stacie. So Judy's here, and Maria Dominguez just joined, and Judy Patterson also joined and took the leap. She said, I took the leap. Rebecca Dolan signed up over the weekend, which is total awesome. So Rhonda, who also has come to your Q&As, Rhonda William Hang, who's taken my Pattern Design Academy course, she's on the edge. She's still on the ledge. So Rhonda, you need to tell us why you haven't left yet. But before we go to that, I just wanted to let you know that one of the things that is so brilliant about, first of all, Bonnie Christine, we all owe so much to Bonnie Christine, me and you both. She's just the most amazing mentor, person, woman, incredible talent. Not only talent, but also just incredible mentor. And so but she and I both teach Adobe Illustrator, right? And I do it way slower, and because most of my community has white hair like me, so I take it much, much slower. But your course is the perfect continuation because you're so practical, and that's how I fell in love with you last year, was the practicality that you bring to the course. And you are also all about the success of your students. But tell us a little bit about that secret sauce of the practicality of using what's around you already and moving forward that way.
Absolutely. So Anne, you're right. Like, so often I think as creatives, we get on this hamster wheel. We're like, I got to keep making art. I need to make the next best art. I need to make the art that gets the Instagram likes. I need to make art. And yes, that's what you're learning how to do, is to make good art. But what then happens is, like, sometimes we're not doing anything with that art. And I want to teach you how to take the art that you have right in front of you, the art you've already made, and leverage it. That's where the course name comes from. And for years, I've been telling this to my friends when they would ask me about, like, the business. They'd be like, Stacie, I have all these dog animal illustrations. I'm like, leverage it.
I know. I love your, like, leverage my art.
Leverage your art. Yeah. And truthfully, you probably have a lot more to work with right in front of you than you realize. You could probably license that. You're probably working to license it, right? License your portfolio. Sorry, something's making a hissy noise. Do you hear that?
Yes, it's my phone ringing, but I'm ignoring it.
Oops, sorry.
I'm going to hang up.
Sorry.
No, I'm hanging up. Can you hear it? You shouldn't be able to hear it anymore.
Oh, great. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I thought I was buzzing or something. So I kind of am. I've been talking about leverage a lot.
I know. You probably are slightly over caffeinated.
I just have this giant happy face mug that I'm drinking out of with coffee.
I like it. But leveraging what's right in front of you is part of your secret sauce.
It's the secret sauce, because the truth is, if I was going to make new art for every single product that I was trying to pitch to, I would never have time to get anything else done. So the secret sauce is really working smarter, not harder, using what's right in front of you and thinking about, hey, I have this body of work, how else can I use it to create income? Can I teach people about how to make art? Can I put this art on product that I sell myself? Can I put this product, these designs on spoon flour? Guys, you may not even realize that everyone's thinking about spoon flour for fabric and yardage, and that's great. And we do have Aaron Kendall coming into Leverage this year, who runs a 6-figure spoon flour store, to give a mini module. But there was a whole part of my career where I used spoon flour to print pillow fronts for myself. And I was using it to create pillow fronts and cut and sew and create product. You have no idea how many resources you probably have right at your fingertips. And sometimes you just have to look at it a little bit differently. And it changes the way you look at your body of work and the potential from your artwork. So that's really the whole philosophy behind Leverage.
So tell me something. One of the other questions that came up was, well, can't I just figure this out on my own? And one of the things that I have learned from another fabulous mentor of mine, whose name is Barry Bumgarner, she says, you know what, if you want to learn how to do something, you should go to the expert, right? And she has this expression. I love this expression. She said, you should cut a check for speed. Buy Stacie's course, do what she says, because she's been ahead of you. She's gone the path ahead of you, and you'll get there faster. But talk a little bit about that, for yourself personally in your life, and also like why you created Leverage to help us make progress faster.
Absolutely. So exactly what you just said is true. I spent 12 years piecemealing together a creative career, not because I wanted to, but because no course existed to tell me what I needed to know. No one was able to take my hand as a baby illustrator, drawing nursery animals, and say, hey, Stacie, you have potential with this work. Have you thought about taking this illustration and doing more with it than just art prints? Have you thought about pitching your work to nursery decor artists? Have you thought about taking
I can
the
hear
same...
the babies.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Have you thought about taking the same illustration and recoloring it and giving it new life? Have you thought about turning this into a repeat pattern? There was no one who was able to say, look at all these possibilities, and I'm going to show you how to do them. And so for me, I learned about art licensing by accident, frankly. And I was thinking, if I had known about art licensing early in my career, how much more I could have done with that body of work, but no one was teaching all the possibilities. Not only that, like maybe you're like me, and at one point you're like, there's products in stores. I make products. How do I get my products into stores? Because a next natural step is you're licensing your artwork. Maybe you're creating some things to sell on your own. What if you want to dream bigger and get it into stores? I had no one who could say, hey, I'm going to show you exactly how to take your product and grow it and turn it into another income stream. So yes, all this is to say, 12 years of trial and error of figuring out how to do things means that I'm going to save you years of time, years and years of time. And that's essentially what I offer to you. So just alone in the course, when you sign up for Leverage, I have resource lists that will be given to you throughout the course. I give you a giant list of manufacturers to work with, companies to pitch your work to for licensing, art agents to potentially work with if you want representation, publishers to pitch to if you want to get into books. I have years of research that alone I'm giving to you, which is going to save you years of time. I give you pitch email templates so that you can really easily send out pitch emails to whomever you want to work with. And that's all before you even get into the course content. So yeah, you're writing a check for speed. You're going to be able to accelerate your growth by taking Leverage. And I will tell you myself, even at this level in my business, and there's no end point, guys. There's no end point. The idea is that we keep growing, right, and there's no cap to how much we can grow. I still invest in my own education. I still take courses, and you don't know what you don't know. And you go to the people who have walked down the path, just like Anne said, because they're going to help you get there faster. And if we do this, we all thrive as a creative community, frankly. So it's important.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And you can do it your own. There are two things that I always want to make sure I'm emphasizing. One is that if you don't do it this year, the year that you just gave up might turn into 3 years or it might turn into 5 years, or it might turn into forever. And so I really believe in taking action, especially when you feel it in your body, that it is the right thing. It is the right next step for you. So another question comes up is, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. And I think that this is a really great, so you have to talk about your pledge and then help
Yep.
us with overwhelm.
So I will tell you, overwhelm. I think we all feel it because inherently we're all trying to do something really brave. We are all trying to take our artwork and turn it into something, income, a career, a side hustle. And that alone is scary, right? That alone is risky because you're making yourself vulnerable and you're sharing your work with the world. And then comes whenever you actually take the leap and you do invest in yourself and you get inside a course like Leverage. And yeah, it's a world of possibility, but also, yikes, there's so much possibility, right?
Right.
So, the first thing I have people do when they join Leverage is take the Overwhelm pledge that says, I will not let overwhelm steal my joy. Because how many times have we not been able to enjoy the process of learning because we have put so much pressure on ourselves to output, to perform. And I've done it myself so many times. I'm in the middle of something good and I can't even enjoy the good because I have let all these external expectations or circumstances influence my ability to sit in it and thrive and learn. And so that's the first thing we want to combat in a course like Leverage Your Art. You're going to learn so much. It's so true. Yes, please go at a pace that works for you. Absorb the information as you need to, and make the pledge that this can be an amazing, fruitful experience because you are setting the tone. We get to control the tone of our experience. And I've seen it time and time again. The people who take it seriously, they know that, I am in control of only a little bit in my life, but I can control my environment. So I encourage people, make a space in your home every day that you want to sit down and watch the Leverage lessons, make it a ritual. Maybe it means I'm in this corner of my bed. Maybe I'm going to light a candle. Maybe I'll have my favorite music playing. Let's create an environment for success to go through the course and go at a pace that works for us. And y'all, I'm with you. Overwhelm is a possibility. But what's nice is if you get to the other side of overwhelm, that's whenever you're actually not letting the emotional block keep you from experiencing something good. And that's whenever you get into the flow, guys. And I want us all to find our flow as creative business women, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So a couple questions that have come up in the chat are Marianne Walker-LeClaire, who's in my community. She's in Canada. She's up in Ontario. And she actually started her own subscription box. And you know Marianne Walker-LeClaire, no doubt. So she's saying all of the resources sound amazing. And so are they available? Are they kind of global, or do they apply for people who are up in Canada as well?
No, they're global. So here's what you need to understand, and I mean this sincerely. The number one question I'm getting from our international students is is this course only for people in the United States? What's really great about, first of all, art licensing and being an artist in general is you can do it from anywhere. So, we are interviewing actually a really successful UK artist during the course named Louise Lockhart. She goes by the brand name The Printed Peanut. She lives in the United Kingdom. She licenses with companies all over the world, also in the United States. She runs a successful wholesale business, and she does it all internationally. And I have so many students, for instance, who are from Australia and New Zealand and Canada. 20% of our student body was international last year. And the course and the resources are applicable no matter where you live. You can live in Italy, and we have a lot of people from Italy this year. It's pretty cool. And you can pitch to the clients that I give you. It doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah, no, perfect. And she says hi back, Stacie. Marianne says hi back. So one of the other things that came up is, can you just explain licensing again? And you actually do a great job explaining it, so I'm going to let you go for it. I explain it totally differently, and I think you do a much, much better job.
Well, I don't think I've originated this the way I explain it. I think I absorbed it at some point. I don't know who to give the full credit to, but imagine it like this. So imagine you have art. I had this sheep illustration, and someone comes to you and says, I like that sheep illustration. I want to rent it from you, and I'm going to give you money. And while I'm using it, you get paid from me, and I'm going to put it on my own products and sell it. That's essentially what art licensing is. It is whenever a company who makes products that you don't make yourself says, hey, we're looking for some beautiful art to put on these products because, frankly, y'all, we are the reason product sells. Us surface pattern designers, us illustrators, we make the beautiful things that make the product sell. So manufacturers, fabric companies, home decor companies, mug companies, kitchenware, all clothing, everybody's looking for pretty designs to put on their products because that's how it sells. So we as the artists have this really tremendously great opportunity to make beautiful art and partner with companies to get our art on their products. And then what's really great with licensing is you're not spending any money. So like, let's say you're selling products, you're investing something, right? You're investing in overhead and shipping and manufacturing, the whole shebang. And you might get there eventually. And I do, and I love it. But with art licensing, it's taking work you already have and finding the right home for it so someone can rent it from you. And then you get paid. And I love getting paid, don't you? And you can get paid up front. You can get paid in royalty checks, which are super happy. That's whenever a company pays you a little percentage of each item sold. And you get paid after the item is in stores.
Yeah, and the other thing that's great about licensing, and this was an aha for somebody over the weekend, was one of the reasons it's so appealing is you can take that same work and you can license it to a company in the United States, but then you can take that same work and license it to somebody in France or in Spain. Or so there's geographic opportunities, huge geographic opportunities.
It's actually nuts when you think about it. So what I teach you in Leverage, and we don't have to talk about it today, but the nitty gritty of it all, I teach you. So we go from, hey, I have artwork, I dream of putting it on products, to me showing you how to organize your portfolio, me showing you how to find the company contact information so you can send your work to them, to actually the pitch email that you need so you can pitch it to that company. And then let's say we get to the contract part, which is the fun part, which means you're going to actually make some money off of your art. I teach you how to walk through those contracts and read them. And what you just talked about, Ian, is exactly right. What you don't realize is when you license your work, you don't sign away worldwide rights to it. It's like if I want to only license this flower design to a rug company in the United States, I could still license it to another rug company in Japan, and people do. And like, when you think of it that way, and how many people are there in the world, and how much stuff do people buy? I'm not trying to be crass, but like, we're a consumer economy. And as long as people are buying stuff, that's an opportunity to put our art on it.
Yeah, and listen, the other thing too that you said that really resonated with me was the fact that sometimes people get overwhelmed because the industry is so huge. And so they think, well, that means that opportunities must be limited. But in fact, it's the opposite. It means that it's limitless, because if you're making pretty things, companies are desperate for pretty things because they do make the product sell, like you just said. So it's really limitless as opposed to limited.
Oh, exactly. It is limitless. And I hear it all the time from artists, from potential students, from people who even are starting Leverage. They're like, I don't know my voice yet. I feel like I'm still honing my voice. How am I even going to know what to do, who I'm selling to? And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to have it all figured out to get started. You don't have to have the perfect portfolio. You don't have to have the perfect plan. In fact, if you did, you wouldn't need my course, because the truth is, I'm here to help you with that. The majority of us, no matter how long we've been doing this, whether you're brand new, starting out, you've just learned how to make surface pattern designs, or you've been kind of doing the craft show scene for a while or hand making work, at a certain point, you realize, I want to reach these big goals and I want to get there faster. And I may not know exactly where I'm going to go, but I'm going to find the help that I need to help me get there. And that's where I come in, because not to toot my own horn, but I do a pretty good job of being able to see where someone's at right now and to give them good guidance and direction about where to go next. And that's invaluable. How many times in our life have we had that person come alongside us and just come up and embrace us where we're at right now and say, I see potential and I see where you can go with this. And leverage, not only do I do that with you and my team does that for you, but we teach you how then to become your own best editor and critic of your work and take your work and unify it and figure out who would love to buy your work. That's an exercise we go through, is figuring out who your ideal dream customer is. And then from there, you're going to have so much more confidence. And I think maybe that's the number one word I've heard from alumni who come out of leverage. They feel confident for the first time in a long time that there is a place for them, and they feel like they have the tools they need to actually make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think this led totally into like one of the other questions, which is I don't have a signature style yet, so maybe I should wait. And my response to that is you're going to get there faster, and you and Stacie will help you identify like even how to figure out what your signature style is. I think people think signature style is just all about how you draw, when in fact
Yeah.
it's anyway. I'll stop talking. You talk more about it.
No, I love it. So, you know, imagine this. We're all looking at the same people in our industry who are doing work a certain way. And we look to them and their success and we think, somehow I need to emulate them. That's how I have success. When the truth is, our signature style is more than just how we draw. It's how we represent our work to the world. And it's the work that we're making that's meaningful to us. What sets us apart from each other is more than just our style, like artistically. It's where we're coming from where our heart is. And I mean this 100%. When you make work that you are proud of, that you love, other people feel it too. And whenever you are making work that isn't just a derivative of someone else's work or a work that's influenced by someone else's work, but work that actually has deep personal meaning to you, whether that means it's a quote that you're illustrating that you love, or you're illustrating, you know, a beloved dog of yours, or you've taken a photo of a favorite place in your hometown and you use it to create an entire like collection based off of the plants in that photo. That's something that only you can bring to the table. And, you know, our creative voices are unique. They're like fingerprints. And in fact, I found the most success in my business, Gingerbread, when I went from just making decorative art in my style, but making work that had stories to it, work that had meaning to it. And we are storytellers. Think about that. Think about that for just a second. Like when there's a story behind your work, and this is what's so cool about how it all comes together. If there's inspiration behind what you're making, imagine how much easier it is then to talk about it and share about it on social media, in a newsletter, which we teach you how to do. Every time I hear a student be like, I don't have anything to talk about. Like, I'm just sharing my work. No, you do. And it's your story. And it's like why you chose these colors, why you illustrated the flower this way. Like, does it remind you of your childhood? Do you have a favorite memory associated with it? Share those stories, y'all. And there's so much more depth to what we do. And all that is to say is if you're like sitting here right now and you're saying, you know, my work's not totally where I want it to be yet, I have a little news flash. And this is respectfully, the work that you're going to make 10 years from now is going to be better than the work you're making now. The work I made 10 years ago, I still was able to sell. And it wasn't perfect. It wasn't as refined as it is now. And yet I was still able to do something with it. And the more you show up and the more you make work, the better it's going to get. But gosh, if you wait for it to be all perfectly lined up, you're never going to start, friend.
Yeah, no, so true, so true. So the other thing that you said I think it was the other day, or maybe it was inside leverage, was the fact that so you know, you're very practical, and you do have an amazing ability to look at someone else's the situation and be able to give them new ideas. And I think that comes because you have a breadth of experience with not putting all your eggs in one basket. So talk just a little bit about, did that just come naturally, or over time you just realized, wait a minute, there are 10 other ways you could use that piece of work?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit. I'll try to be brief. You know, I like to talk. And I talk a lot in Leverage Your Art. If you like hearing me talk, I go twice a week and I go live and answer your questions, which is where a lot of the magic happens too.
Yeah.
But, you know, early on in my career, I was pretty much doing Etsy as my sole income stream. And I built it up to about a 6-figure income stream. And I was really happy with it. And on the side, I was kind of doing some craft shows. And I had dabbled in a little bit of licensing and wholesale. And, you know, it wasn't like I was being incredibly intentional about it, but I had found some success. I was like, look at all these different ways to create income from my art. Well, you're going to experience this at some point, because I certainly have more than once. the platform of Etsy changed. And Etsy's still a great place to make a living. But for me, in my particular situation, it changed and it made it harder for me to sell my work on there because, all my eggs were really on one basket. I had not really diversified my income stream where I was putting equal effort, or not even just equal effort, but intentional effort into anything else. So Etsy, the story goes, Etsy went public, and it changed from a handmade marketplace, which I was real cozy in, to a place where it was very different. And all of a sudden, my income on Etsy cut in half. This is just the truth. And at one point, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? My whole family's income relies on this. And then I sat for a second and I thought, and I was like, Stacie Bloomfield, use what's right in front of you. You're already licensing your work. What if you do more of it? You're already wholesaling the products that you make. What if you get a little bit organized and create some systems for yourself so that you can pitch your work? Because when you learn how to pitch your work and talk about yourself, you can do it whether you're wholesaling or collaborating or licensing. And all of a sudden, my whole world opened up because I'd been so hyper-focused on doing one thing that I was ignoring all this other potential. And so from there, I got a lot more intentional is the word. Yeah. And I opened my own website, gingerbread.com, and I started driving traffic there. And I started pursuing wholesale. I was pursuing licensing. And what was nuts is I started making a lot more money. And I wasn't putting a lot more effort into it. Instead of continuously spinning my wheels on Etsy, fighting this algorithm that I didn't understand, I was like, well, what can I do that I have some control over? And that's what I want you to realize is that maybe you're hyper-focused on one thing right now, and maybe you're not seeing progress there, or maybe it's just not going the way you want. What else is right in front of you that maybe you're overlooking that could be that hidden gem that changes things for you?
Yeah, and listen, I think that one of the things people definitely gain inside leverage is that confidence, right? And you also help with intentionality. You help say, well, we need to do this with systems. You have to have systems, which is a whole component inside the program. So I want to talk actually a little bit more about just how you've organized the course. I went on to, you've got a beautiful new link to a place where everybody can actually get the inside tour. So I want to make sure we tell people where to find that. But I first wanted to ask you, because I've always wanted to ask you, Gingerbread. Tell us about the name Gingerbread.
Oh, it's a funny little story. When I was in college, I had to brand myself. So I have a degree in graphic design and fine arts. And for my senior project, I had to create the Stacie Bloomfield brand. Gingerbread didn't exist yet, like the products I was making or the illustrations, but I had to make a magazine all about myself. So I opened up a Latin dictionary. I often say the simplest solution is the best solution. And I was like, what am I going to call my brand? So I just opened up a dictionary and I found a word that I liked, and it was called gingerbread. And it is Old Latin for ginger. That's all it is. Like the spice.
Yeah.
And so I put it on the cover of my senior project and I let it be. Then you go forward a few years later when I'm trying to open an Etsy store. And again, that instinct to just use the work that was right in front of me, I was like, well, I did all this branding for a college project. I'm going to put it on my Etsy store. And I did. And shockingly, that Etsy store led to the beginnings of my entire illustration career. And so all that is to say is gingerbread doesn't really mean anything, but it doesn't pigeonhole me either. And it keeps people asking how to pronounce it. Now I have it trademarked.
Awesome.
And that's the story. And I will just say this. A lot of people get hung up on what to name your business. And I'm just going to say this. You can call it by your own name. You can go by your own name, Stacie Bloomfield. You can brand it. But if you're waiting to get started because you can't find the perfect brand name, friend, take the simplest solution and run with it. Don't hold yourself back because something isn't perfect.
Yeah, no, that's such great advice. And that's another part of what I so appreciate about you and what I learned so much about last year. And I'm taking the course again because I know I'm going to be able to go even deeper this year because every year builds, I know I'm going to be able to get even more out of it. And that's what's so amazing about having lifetime access to the course that you buy. So that gingerbread story is brilliant. I love ginger. And so I was curious as to whether or not there was more that, where it came from. And it's another great example of you using something that was right in front of you because you have that beautiful quote about use the art that's in front of you. And you also have this really magical way of helping yourself stay organized by not getting overwhelmed by color. So can you just talk a little bit about that? Because a lot of us get all whipped up about everything we do has to have its own frickin' color palette. So talk a little bit about how practical you are in that regard.
Oh, yeah. So whenever I realized, because I'm just like you, I was there. I remember whenever I was early on, I was just trying every color under the sun to make beautiful work because, I love color. Color is amazing. But what I found is an illustration was a decent illustration in black and white. And then I would go take it into color and I would spend so long trying to get the perfect color palette that it would take me twice as long to finish something until I realized, what if I just limit my choices? And what if I am intentional and work in a signature color palette that all my work is going to be in for a period of time? First of all, working in a color palette, a specific color palette, unifies your whole body of work. And if you start to pay attention, you can go through my Instagram and go through the years because you'll see where I've introduced new color palettes, and I only am working in those color palettes. First of all, when we limit ourselves with our color, it forces us to get a lot more creative because instead of trying to have the perfect yellow, for instance, for a flower, and what if you have to work with a more limited color palette? And so instead of being hyper focused on, oh, the yellow's not perfect, we work within this limited color palette, and it forces us to get a lot more creative with how we represent our work. And the truth is, when I have a body of work, let's say, that I want to pull together. Let's say I'm taking an old illustration from a few years ago and this new one, and maybe elements from this other one because I want to put together a nice collection of work, maybe to pitch. There's nothing that's going to unify it faster than a cohesive color palette. So I'm all into reusing work, recoloring it with limited colors, and then seeing what goes with it. And if you pay attention now that I've told you this, go check out some of your favorite brands, Rifle Paper Company, One Canoe 2, your favorite home decor companies, and pay attention. I'm sure that they're using a single color palette, and you're going to start to notice it, and you're like, aha, that's the secret sauce.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one of the questions that's come up is just tell us a little bit about how the course is organized because one of the things I loved last year was actually the design briefs. I totally love the design briefs. But you've also reorganized it to make it a lot easier for us as students to be able to navigate in terms of finding where everything is.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, if you're familiar with, Anne, are you on Kajabi as well?
I am on Kajabi as well. So my students are familiar with Kajabi. They kind of know how it's organized, but you've really taken your organization to a whole new level.
Thank you for saying that. So you'll know then if you go into the student portal, what I've done is I have organized everything in a very simple way to find what you need. So first of all, when you log in, there's a welcome module. Inside that welcome module, there's a video that says start here. And that's where I give you the grand tour of everything inside of the Leverage Your Art Classroom. And Anne can link to that video actually, because I've made it accessible so you can actually look after this live and see exactly what I'm talking about.
I will totally post it. Yeah, I'll totally post it because it's a short little video and it's awesome.
It's awesome. So once you go through the welcome module, it helps you to understand, first of all, who I am, what the course is about. It gives you a great mini vision board course because I'm all about dreaming big and having vision. And so you're going to walk through that. And that's the first thing you get to do. Then I take you into a place where the workbooks are at. So guys, I'm a huge believer in we need to absorb information in multiple ways. So there's video content. We have workbooks that go along right along with it. And, I feel like taking handwritten notes or typing notes while I'm learning something helps me to absorb it so much faster. And we offer audio only versions of our lessons too, because a lot of our students like to go on walks and listen to the lessons. So all that is to say is we have the ability to take leverage multiple ways, but the workbooks are all in one place. So every time a new module comes out, you can download your workbook, and that's what you're going to use throughout that entire module. Then we have a bonus section where every time that there is a special guest who's coming in to speak about their area of expertise, that's where you're going to be able to find it. We also created a tutorial library of simple tutorials that you're going to come back to again and again throughout the course, and that's available for you as soon as you log in, and we add content to it as the course goes on. And finally, we have your modules. Every week that there is a new module, you'll see a new little button pop up where that's where the course content lives. And all the videos inside that module are divided up into short, digestible videos so that you can access what you need and pick up right where you've left off. We have really worked to streamline the process so that you don't have to do as much figuring out, like, where is everything? Where do I find the workbook? It's in one place. Where do I find the bonuses? It's in one place. Where do I find tutorials? It's in one place. And not only that, we have Searchy this year, which I'm sure we love Searchy because Searchy is a video search tool that will let you find exactly every place inside of Leverage where I talk about art licensing or pitching or portfolios or whatever word you're looking for. And it will take you right to the video, right in the spot in the video that you're looking for. And so essentially, we are streamlining the course and we've made it beautiful. It got a little branding glow up, which
It's
we're proud of.
beautiful. Oh, it's
Thank
beautiful. I absolutely love it. And so the other thing too is implementation weeks, because listen, one of the things that can, in the beginning, people can feel like they're kind of drinking from a fire hose. And so you've added implementation weeks. So talk about the philosophy there.
The philosophy is pretty simple. It's that I myself felt it too when I was teaching last year. There's so much that you are learning and not so much like it's overwhelming, but we do have lives and we're watching these videos, and then it'd be really great if we could just press pause for a second and actually put into practice what we're learning, right? So we've actually created a place to press pause, and it's called the implementation week. So you will receive, there's week 1 and then week 2, and then we have press pause implementation week. I'm still going live during implementation week to answer questions. My team is still there. And that's the week where you get to actually do the things that I've taught you in the previous 2 modules. And then we have week 3 and week 4. And then there's another implementation week. And then we have week 5 and week 6 of material. So it's 8 weeks total.
Yep.
6 modules, 2 implementation weeks. I may have misspoke. I need to clarify. And this is because those implementation weeks are the best time to go back and rewatch things that you wanted to absorb better, or ask the questions, or actually put into practice what you need. And all that is to say is we've built in space, because we all need some white space in our lives to actually absorb what we're doing. So we've built it in for you.
Yeah, we totally do. So the last question on my group, from my group, was how quickly can I start to sell my art?
That's a really great and practical question. I can't promise you how quickly you're going to make immediate money from the course Leverage, but what I can point you to are the testimonials of students who have gone through Leverage, and we have 30 plus testimonials gathered together from people who took what they learned from Leverage and ran with it. I will tell you that you will have all the tools you need if you want to immediately open up a print store, sell your art prints, if you want to immediately upload your artwork to a print-on-demand site or do drop shipping, if you want to build a website on like Squarespace, I show you how to do that. Like it's not as hard as you would think, because I've broken it down to make it as simple as possible for you. I pretty much equip you to be able to take what I teach you and run with it. And so I think right off the bat, you will be able to create income from your art. It just is a matter of where you want to go with it. And I'm going to give you that direction. And, I've had some students who, even within Leverage, one student I talked to yesterday, while she was in Leverage, she took one of the design briefs. So I give you these design briefs. I think we forgot to talk about it. Inside the course, I give you design assignments because it's more than just learning information. I want you to actually have the creative component of practicing being a professional artist, a licensed artist. I give you design briefs to work to, where I give you assignments as if I'm a company and I'm asking you to create the work for me in your style. And what it does is it stretches you to work in subjects that you may not normally work in, but to still try to focus on having your own unique voice come through. And what's really cool is everybody's work all looks different, even if we're all given the same assignment. And I've had a student last year take their design briefs and then go and license them, which is nuts. And I had another student take their design briefs and turn it into products that they then began to sell. I had one student who during Leverage got a contract for licensing from just what I taught them in the first 2 modules. And it paid for the course several times over. And there are so many stories about people who are like, all right, she's giving me what I need. I'm going to go run with it. Ash, one of our alumni, Ash, she replaced her entire corporate income as a graphic designer within a year of taking Leverage, which is nuts. And, everyone's success looks different. For some people, success looks like I've created some new residual income for my business that I can count on. For other people, they've taken some of the pressure off of their day job. They have a little side hustle that's creating income. For other people, they've quit their jobs and they focus on art entirely. And other people have felt stuck for years, frankly, trying to do the hustle. And all of a sudden they feel unstuck. So consider me your plunger. I'm going to unstuck you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Quote me on that one. I'm your plunger. Sorry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, listen, one of the things that you said when you came on last week that I just thought was fantastic, or maybe it was a couple days ago, it's all blurring together now, was the fact that we have context clues. Right.
Yes.
And so this will be the last question because listen, I'm sure you're going to do another one of these in 5 minutes. So I'll let you go. But talk to us just a little, because that was like, you saw me post about that. I took that as a quote from the brilliant Stacie Bloomfield, and they're context clues. So tell us just a little bit more about that and then we'll let you go.
Oh, well, I'm happy to be here. And just thank you again for having me and for your students to listen. I really hope that you'll take the leap and join us. But here's the truth. We have a lot of information at our fingertips that we don't even realize that we can use to grow our creative businesses. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but the truth is there's power in data and there's power in paying attention to what's right in front of us. So I'm a huge believer in, and like I said, using what's right in front of us, paying attention to the work that you're making that excites you. Pay attention to the work that you're making that other people respond to. If you're selling online, if you're pitching, there are things that you're going to begin to notice that get traction. And, sorry, my kids are giggling. I hear them. I'm just a huge believer that we have everything we need pretty much at our disposal. And sometimes we just need someone to shine a light on it and show us like, hey, look at this. You're already doing all these amazing things. What if you just take this and go tweak it a little bit and go in a little bit of a different direction? And I feel like when we get really focused on creating the artwork, sometimes we get this tunnel vision and we're so fixated on like what's right in front of us, we can't back up a little bit and see the bigger picture. The truth is, if you look at all the things that are happening all together, you probably have a lot more to work with than you realize. So for me, what it looked like early on was, I think I mentioned it already. I was making handmade items and I was making art prints and I was making pillows. And, I loved making pillows and I could have tried to keep forcing that to work for me. But the truth is, thank goodness I stopped for a second. I was like, you know what? There's some traction here with this artwork that I'm making and people are responding to it. I'm going to lean into this. And I think what happens then is you pay attention to what's happening in your career, your creative work, your body of work. And you lean into what's working. And y'all, here's the thing. You might be like, well, how do I lean into something if I don't know what's happening? It doesn't matter how early on you are in your career. You can ask people what they think of your work. This is the most common thing in the book. We do surveys, friends. Ask your friends. Show them your work. Say, what would you think about this product this design if it was on a mug? What would you think about this design if I went in this direction or that direction? Get outside of yourself. Get outside of your bubble. Ask for advice from other people. And then I think you'll be shocked at how much you realize you have to work with. Anyway, I hope that all makes sense.
Yeah, totally, totally. And on the flip side, like, how do you help people with shiny object syndrome? I think sometimes we spend too much time on social media when that actually is not necessarily the best place to be spending our time.
It's not. And this is just the truth. And I talk about it. Look, I love Instagram. I have 70,000 Instagram followers. But can I just tell you, not all those people are buying customers. You might feel like you have to be hyper-focused on growing your social media. And yes, it can be a tool in your creative toolkit. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes we get so hyper-focused on making the perfect work for social media to get likes. I think reels are cool. A lot of people are making video reels on Instagram. I'm not making them right now because, frankly, I don't see how it's going to play into growing my business currently. Let's instead focus on growing a strong business. Let's build stability. I have friends who have way fewer Instagram followers than me, and they're making a lot of money as creative business owners. And I also know people who chase the likes, chase the followers, and they spend all their time every day trying to grow their like count. And meanwhile, their store online is not going cha-ching. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
That's what you do. You focus on who you're serving with your work. You focus on the ideal customer. You think about what that person would like to see, not just on social media, but what designs would they like to see? What collaborations would they like to see? What products are they buying? And you kind of get inside their head a little bit. And when you think about that, that's actually a business model that can scale. that kind of thinking. You can't scale if you're only spending all of your time on your phone, checking everything, feeling bad, being like, oh, my likes aren't good enough. That also feeds into this idea that my work's not good enough. Instagram is not the measure of success.
Right.
And I want you to remember that.
So true. Oh my goodness. So, so true. So true. So Debbie Frankenberg wants to know if it's going to be too much if she's already in my course, because I launched my Pattern Design Academy course like 4 weeks ago. And I don't think that it is. But I also want to make sure that I'm saying out loud that your course is incredibly valuable and it should be way more expensive. And it will be more expensive next year. But talk about how people can manage, because I frequently am in multiple courses at the same time as I continue to invest in my own education. But talk about that a little bit yourself.
So here's the thing. I bought a course last year when I was in the middle of building my own course. And it was a very busy time. But here's the deal, friends. A good course is not like, if you don't use it right away, you lose it. Or if you don't use the information right away, it's no good to you. I go back to this other course that I bought time and time again to help me build other parts of my business. And it may be that, yeah, right this minute, you're going to be focusing on Anne's course. But what can you do? Can you show up to some of my live once a week? Can you do that and get something out of it until you are ready to dive into the content? Can you give me 5 minutes a day of watching videos throughout the week so that you can watch all the video content? Does it mean having like a block session on the weekend where you're just, absorbing all the things in leverage? They work together so well. And the truth is, yeah, you're going to be learning art from Anne and how to make beautiful surface pattern designs, but don't you want to take it and learn how to run with it? And if you're, Anne's course is happening and it's, is it 8 weeks? Anne,
it's 10 weeks. We're in week 4, so there's 6 weeks left, but one of those is an implementation week where they don't get any new information. So we're actually in a very good spot. We did all the heavy lifting. We've done all the heavy lifting in my course in the first 4 weeks, because that's when you really learn the basics of Adobe Illustrator. So I think that yours, first of all, totally complimentary, but also timing is much. If you had done this 4 weeks ago, my answer might be different. But based on the fact we're almost halfway through, I think that it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And friends, if you wait another year to take my course, I'd be happy to have you next year. Don't get me wrong. But that's how much time is going to be in between the end of Anne's course and my course beginning. And I think you're going to grow your creative career so much faster if you go ahead and say, yes, I want this course. I'm going to jump in at the pace that works for me, and I'm going to have access to it all year. And next year, as Anne said, the price is going to be going up. And I can do that with confidence because I know how much this course helps people, and I know how much content is in this course. It's not fluff. Right. It is the building blocks that you need to grow your business. And I just feel like you can do both together, and they work together so well. So I hope that you will consider not waiting and join Leverage Your Art.
I hope so too. And Sochi just said, Colarusso just said, okay, I'm sold. So that's awesome. So listen, thank you so much, Stacie. I cannot wait to go through the course again myself and to have all of my beautiful peeps joining us. And don't wait. It's only open until tomorrow, right? Enrollment closes tomorrow at 11:59 Central Time. So if any of you guys are here in California with me, that means 10:59 Pacific. And
I'm an Arkansas girl, and so I have it at my time zone. So
you have it in your time zone.
Yeah, but please don't wait. And please know that if you ever feel overwhelmed, you don't just have me to talk to. Anne is also a huge resource for you. I know she's made herself tremendously available throughout Leverage. She is truly a believer in this course and cares about you all. I know this because I've worked with her. And so I just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if there's anyone who's going to make this a delightful experience for you, it's going to be Anne. So
thank you, Stacie. Have a great, great, great rest of your day. I will definitely see you tomorrow when you have your panel. I'll make sure that everybody has the link to the panel tomorrow. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.